to work. Let's go to work. Let's get to work, baby. Let's see. Okay, get the volume up. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. What's crackling? What's crackling? What's popping, my people? What's popping? What's popping? Say it first. What's popping? Say less. What's popping? What's popping? Big homie, how you feeling? I'm good. What's popping, Chris? What's popping? I'm good. I'm goody. Sandra Austin, what's popping? What's popping? This will be a great live, man. This gonna be a great live. Hey, if y'all can hear me, put an 8 in the chat. If you can hear me like perfectly, put an 8 in the chat. You're always on point, intro. I appreciate you, Cassandra. Thank you for that. Perfect. This gonna be a great live, man. You gonna learn a lot of stuff, and we just go point a lot of stuff out that these people don't like talking about, because they can talk about black people all day. They can talk about what black women doing, what black men doing, what black kids doing, but let's talk about what they doing. And see me, now I love to, because I told y'all, hold on. I told y'all it's Caucasian people that's waking up. And you could say they just doing it for views or whatever, but you gotta realize this, they gotta see their people in real life. Caucasian people are waking up and calling their people out. We about to see that. Before I show you the boat shoot or whatever, we go look at some TikTok videos, and I'm gonna show y'all they calling their people out. They calling their people out. The king is back. What's popping? What's popping? Hold on, y'all. Let me turn my AC off and this fan, because to me it's kind of loud. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. 1 second. Perfect. Perfect, though. It's kind of loud to me. What's popping? What's popping? What's popping? So like I say, before we get into the boat incident, I want to show y'all on TikTok some real shit. This some real shit, and some of it is coming from Caucasian people, you know. So let's get right into it. And what's popping, everybody? Appreciate y'all. First, let's get into this video.
We talk about how ironic it is that the right demonizes people of color when the only time I've feared for my life has been around a white man.
What's poppin'?
So many hate comments like these few here. To the time I just write it off as immature, angry men, but the times that I've genuinely been scared that violence was going to be inflicted upon me have been white men. Not to mention that a lot of domestic violence, as well as...
This is our intro. This is the intro. What's poppin'? What's poppin'?
Many mass shootings are committed by white men. There are going to be people in any demographic that commit crimes, but the fact that the right focuses so intensely on the single crime that a person of color commits is so dishonest. Some of the craziest things that have happened to me since I started posting is that I've gotten my account banned because white supremacists mass reported me for being underage, which I'm clearly not. They found my phone number and leaked it, so I had to change my phone number. They tried to get me fired by contacting any school in Chicago to see if I worked there. There was even an online page to see who was calling which school. I've literally been called a race traitor and told that I will be lynched along with POC. So no, people of color aren't the problem here. It is white men, and that's why I make the content I do. They prove it to me more and more every single day why it's necessary.
I see it. What's poppin'? But I told y'all, she's not the only one on TikTok, bro. On TikTok, they are calling out their own people, bro. They calling out their own people, man. So when you see these raccoons, I'm gonna call them raccoons on YouTube, wearing a MAGA hat, taking up for Caucasian people, you know they gotta be crazy, because if their own people calling them out, why you got a MAGA hat on? You know, this shit crazy. What's popping? But let me show y'all something else now. This gonna make sense, bro. You know how they say, you know how they say, white people don't do this, Caucasian people don't do this. They do this better. No, bro. Check this out.
He's not lying, and I'm going to tell y'all the tea that some white women gave me. Go to any predominantly white area and sit down at the dog park.
And look, before anybody say something, why you worried about white people? Look, they worried about us. We wouldn't worry about them. But they worried about us every day. They want to debate. We don't want to talk to them. It's nothing to talk about. Our elders tried to talk to them. Our ancestors fought back. We don't have nothing to talk about. All the talking is over. We have nothing to talk about. It's no debating. We don't want to debate with you. It's none of that. That's why they ran. That's why they ran dude off that HBCU college. Ain't no debating with black. No, we're not trying to debate no more. We're not trying to talk. It's nothing to talk about. We talked in the past. It's no more talking. None. So if you say, oh, why you worry about white people? Bro, they worry about us every single day. Every single day. That's the only way they can make money on YouTube. That's the only way the raccoons can make money on YouTube is talk about black Americans. That's it. That's the only way they can make money is talk about black Americans because we are the standard. We don't copy nobody. We create our own shit. And online, they have to talk about us. That's it. That's the only way they can make money because we are the originals. They have nothing to talk about. You got to think about it. A lot of them left their country. A lot of them fled their country. So they don't have nothing grounded. They not grounded. Even though our ancestors went through slavery, they also fought back. We also have a lot of histories, and we proud of our shit. They fled their islands. They fled their countries. They ran to us and got the audacity to talk about us. Think about that shit. Think about that shit. But to make money, they gotta wear MAGA hats. To make, bruh, it's crazy, bruh. It's crazy. But listen to this. Listen to this shit, man.
This is what will happen. They'll tell you everything. Couple examples. Depressed, miserable, drinking wine and taking Adderall every day.
Oh, she got music in her shit. But let me tell y'all what she's talking about. She was basically saying how people think that Caucasian people don't go through nothing. Their marriage just perfect, their life just perfect. And she was saying, no, just go to the park and listen to these white women talk. The only thing they don't do is they don't expose their husbands. They don't tell all their business to everybody, but they going through it. She was talking about they on Adderall, they on heavy drugs, they cheating on each other, all type of stuff. So when you hear people saying the white community is better, the suburb, no, bro, don't believe that shit. Trust me, don't believe that shit. If you ever lived around Caucasian people, if you know, you know. It's like a soap opera. Just go watch Days of Our Lives. Just go watch all those soap operas, and that's their life. Don't think they are just perfect people. No, they just don't come on the internet exposing their dirt. They don't do that. That's the only thing they don't do. But trust me, they on Adderall, they on fentanyl, Adderall, fentanyl, all. They on all that shit, bro. Kids hate them. They can have all the money in the world. Kids still hate them. Kids want to talk to, they Caucasian daughter want to talk to a hood black dude from the projects. That's real life, bro. So when people come on the internet, trying to rage bait black people or make you angry and say Caucasian people don't, no, bro. Caucasian families that I'm talking about with money, a lot of times their daughters are in love with dudes from the projects. A lot of times, Caucasian people with money, their sons are in love with black women from the projects. That's real life, but they ain't gonna tell you that because that's the truth. They ain't gonna tell you that, bro. That's the truth. You know, Percocet, yo, set my set, every kind of set. He said every kind of set. I have witnessed this, bro. It's real life. Man, you know how many, if I would go that way, talking to white chicks and all that, the face tattoo, bro, that don't mean nothing. None of this stuff means nothing, bro. They can come from a bloodline full of money, bro. You can have all the face tattoos. It don't matter. They like the opposite. They like the opposite. So when you hear people come on the internet saying, white people don't live like this, they don't, bro, I'm gonna be honest, it's probably actually worse. They just hide it better. They just hide it better. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona for like 6 months, and I saw real life. I drove Uber. I took a break from trucking, and I drove Uber for 6 months, and I saw real life. I saw people with money in a back seat playing with their nose. If you know, you know. Playing with their nose. Talking about how they got so much money, but their daughter is strung out on drugs. Bruh, it's real. This is normal, but they don't talk about that because they're not going to expose what's really going on. But today's Gen Z, they go expose it. They don't give a damn. They don't care about their family having money. They don't care about their family Republican. They don't care. They want to live how they want to live. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying, bro. This is real life. I'm 35. I see how real life is, but people can come online and make you think another race is better than Black Americans. No, they just hide they shit. See, everybody want to be like the Caucasians, except, for the most part, except Black Americans. You have some raccoons who put the MAGA hat on, who want to be them, but that's a small percentage. For the most part, we don't kiss ass. That's why everybody don't like us. That's why everybody don't like us. I figured this shit out. You gotta sit back and think about it. Every race wants to be Caucasian. But Caucasian people know deep within that Black people are the people. That's why they gotta keep doing things to keep us down. That's why they gotta put crack in our neighborhoods, drugs in our neighborhoods. That's why they gotta put guns on a train in Chicago. See, a lot of people don't know, bro. The Army was shipping guns on a train to the hood in Chicago. They got caught for this shit. This was like 4 or 5 years ago. They got caught for this shit, bro. The Army, someone in the Army was putting guns on a train, and a train was dropping it off in Chicago, bro. This is real shit. So they have to do whatever to keep us down. They talking points. Notice, Black people don't worry about nobody else. We commit crimes amongst each other, but they have to create ways to keep us down because they know if we rise up, it's over. That's why every race hates us, bro, because they want to be Caucasian, bro. I don't care where I could live around a whole lot of white people. I'm going to be me. My tats, everything. I'm going to be me. But these people, they come to this country, they want to dress like golfers. They don't have a self-identity. They like to act like it. They like to act like they proud of their country. No, they're not. They have no self-identity. And you can talk shit about us, about slavery. Like I say, we got a lot of times we fought back. They're not going to tell you that. Remember the comments. They just blame everyone for everything. I'm from Chicago. They have been putting guns in dumpsters. Yeah, see? Come on, bro. Come on. This is what they've been doing. Look, go through your research. They've been putting guns in dumpsters. They've been putting guns on trains and dropping it off in Chicago on purpose, bro. They've been doing this because they have to keep us down. But now things are changing. So that's why they got, like I say, that's why they got to lay off Black women from these jobs. That's why they got to send in the National Guards to New Orleans, to Chicago, because they want to provoke Black people. Crime is going down. So they got to bring the National Guards in to provoke you, to lock you up. You think they want to stop crime? No. They get paid from this shit. Prison, pipeline, they get paid from this shit. Why would they want to stop crime? No. Why you think they murdered every Black leader? Because they don't want to stop crime. They need this shit to keep going and going. Why would they stop this shit? But I noticed something. Let's get into the video, man. My bad. I noticed something. When these type of crimes happen, with these Caucasian dudes, we got no video footage. Think about it. The gunman, the video I did yesterday, the dude walked to the church where he drove his truck in front of the building and he started shooting. We have no video footage. You telling me all those homes in the suburbs, the church got nothing but cameras. We have no video footage. You know why? Because they don't want copycats. But when it's black on black crime, they gonna show you every angle of the shootout. They gonna show you everything. This side, that side, this side, because they want copycats. Think about that. When black people commit crimes, they gonna show you the crimes because they want copycats. They want copycats. But when they commit white on white crimes, we have no video. All this, everything I've been posting, we have no video footage in 2025. Think about that. Sit back and think about that. We have no video footage. All we have is word of mouth. Lafayette, what's popping? What's popping, Drake? We have no video footage. Everything they've been telling us about this church shooting, this boat shooting, we're about to get into it. We have no video footage, bro. Where is the video footage of the shootout? But they don't want copycats. They don't want other white kids looking and say, oh shit, let me do that. But when it's black on black crime, they gonna show you every angle. They gonna show you every shooter. It's gonna be all over Facebook. They're not gonna take it down because they want that crime to keep going and going. Tell me I'm lying. We haven't seen out one video image. Bro, think about this shit. The dude who drove his truck into that church in Michigan, where is the video footage? You telling me we won't have no video footage, bro? You telling me we won't have not one video footage? But when it's King Von getting shot in the back, we got every angle. It's all on Facebook. They gonna show you King Von getting shot. They gonna show you in Philly, a shootout in Philly from the Ring camera. They gonna show it to you because they want copycats. They want that. But when they do it, we have no video. Where's the video? I'm like, damn, we don't have no video with all these cameras. The curses. Oh yeah, look. At the end of this video, at the end of this live, we going back to the history. And I'm gonna show you why this is happening in North Carolina. I'm gonna show you why, but let's get into it. Appreciate y'all too, man, for joining the live, man. I'm hyped. Appreciate y'all. Right, no video. We got no videos at all. No little snippets, no nothing. You telling me nobody was recording? No snippets, no nothing. Nothing. What's poppin', Josephine? God damn, it's a long ad. Okay, here we go.
Sitting out front, which was just odd to be sitting right there.
Tonight, a business owner describes spotting a boat on the Cape Fear River just moments before a gunman opened fire into a crowd at a waterfront restaurant in Southport, North Carolina. New tonight, Governor Josh Stein will travel to Southport Monday to meet with local law enforcement and leaders in the aftermath of this weekend's deadly attack. Multiple law enforcement agencies rushed to the American Fish Company around 9:30 last night after being alerted to an active shooting. 3 people are dead tonight and 5 others are hurt. Todd Weaver describes the chaos.
I hunkered against that wall. Everybody else was running out. I called 911 as fast as I could. As soon as the bullets stopped,
Put up in the boat. Yep.
Seeing the boat go down the intercoastal waterway with no lights on.
Tonight, the suspect was taken into custody a short time later in Oak Island, and CBS 17's Haley Kennedy joins us now. And Haley, tell us more about the man who remains in custody this hour.
Well, this is suspect 40-year-old Nigel Edge. He has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder and 5 counts of attempted first-degree murder. People who live in Southport say the shooting has shaken their small tourist town.
What's poppin'?
Outside American American Fish Company in
All right, bro.
fills the air shooting.
Shocked that it's here. You know, you always hear about it in the bigger places and not in more of a smaller community like this, and that was very shocking.
40-year-old Nigel Edge is accused of shooting at a crowd of people at the waterfront restaurant from a boat.
We believe that this was a targeted location. We appear that he acted in what we call a lone wolf. He acted alone. This is highly premeditated from what we're seeing at this time.
Edge arrested by the Coast Guard at a public boat entrance on Oak.
Now think about this. They want to sit down and talk about black people all day. But in less than 24 hours, you had 2 mass shootings. Both of them 40-year-old Caucasian dudes. Both of them. But they don't want to debate about this. They so focused on black people, they don't want to focus on themselves. In less than 24 hours, you had 2 mass shootings from 40-year-old Caucasian dudes. But they don't want to debate about that. They want to talk about what's going on in Chicago. Chicago got nothing to do with them. They not in the hood. They not in the projects. But every day, you see these Caucasian dudes going out in public and shooting random people, bro. These people was on vacation. Imagine you on vacation and you get popped. Bruh, that's disrespectful. And you don't get popped just regular pop. You get popped from somebody on a boat. And you sitting and eating. But they tell you you can't feel safe in the hood. Look, you can feel safe in the hood. You just don't bother nobody. Do what you do. Don't bother nobody for the most part. I can tell you about Baton Rouge. Bro, you go to Baton Rouge, bro, just don't bother nobody, bro. But what the news gonna always make it 10 times worse. They gonna make New Orleans 10 times worse. They gonna make, they gonna make these places 10, but they ain't gonna make these 80%, 87% Caucasian people areas worse. They ain't gonna talk about that. They ain't gonna talk about that. It's 87% in Southport, North Carolina. 87% Caucasian people. But they ain't gonna tell you that's dangerous. Imagine being Caucasian this weekend. I wouldn't even go out, bro. I would not go out around Caucasian people anytime soon, bro. You just never know. The way stuff going, and they tell you to watch out for the hood. Nah, bro. You probably safer in the hood. Downplay facts. The Klan network always defend their own. Exactly. Them Carolinas can't catch a break. Oh, official C. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to tell you why they can't catch a break. I told y'all one of my videos. What's poppin', Laura? I told y'all one of my videos. Any soil our ancestors suffered on, they will never have peace. They will never have peace. And I'm going to tell you about North Carolina after we finish with these videos. What's poppin', my people? I appreciate everybody on the live, man. Thank y'all for checking in. I appreciate y'all.
Oak Island, right next to Raleigh native Reggie Swicegood's family marina.
I can't believe that this happened in my backyard and front yard. Literally. Backyard being Southport, front yard being right there on my property, right next to it.
District Attorney John David says that the only thing these victims had in common is that they were tourists enjoying Southport and the music playing.
Ironically enough, at the very place which once served as a backdrop to the movie Safe Haven. And that name is symbolic of the way in which the people in our community view this area.
Now locals say they're being more...
In this city, we don't just...
See, America is trying to move on from the dirt they did. So that's why they're trying to get rid of the black museums. They try and get rid of all the dirt they did in their history, but it's too late. And not just on our part, their own people are turning on them. Caucasian people see that they've been bamboozled. Well, some of them, for the most part. MAGA, I don't think they'll ever see it, bro. They love the propaganda. They love the propaganda, but they are waking up, bro. They see they was in the propaganda. They see they was getting bamboozled the whole time, getting lied to the whole time. They use you. You go to war, you go to the army, they use you, bro. The VA, all that shit, they don't care about you. I got a homie who was in the Iraq war. And he tell me the same thing. You know how much it took him to get that 100% and all that stuff? He had to fight to get that. He had to really, because those people don't respect vets, bro. This country don't respect vets. They like to lie to you. Go walk the streets and tell me who are the most homeless people in this country. It's going to be Army vets, bro. It's going to always, out of 3 people, it's going to be 2 of them that served in some type of war, bro. Tell me I'm lying. I walk the streets all the time. I do street photography. I walk the streets all the time, bro. Out of 3 people, it's going to be 2 of them that went to some type of war, bro. This country don't give a damn about you. And see, as black people, we been knew that. But Caucasian people, it kind of hit them late. It hit them in their 30s. It hit them in their 40s. We knew this shit in high school. It hit them later in life. So that's why you see these 40-year-old dudes just crashing out. Because they can't believe what their own country, their own people did to them. And we're going to see more, and that's why I say, bro, the ancestors don't play. See, we thinking they going to attack, our ancestors going to come back and attack one way. They did, like somebody say, a whole Uno reverse. They turn their own people against them. And they not just doing gang GD versus BD shit. No. These dudes crashing into a church with bombs, shooting up everybody in the church, setting on fire. And you don't hear not one Caucasian people on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, making a video calling out Caucasian people. On TikTok, they doing it. But you don't hear your white friends making videos about this. You don't hear them saying, wow, the kids just got shot in the church. Nope, they quiet. Because they don't give a damn. They only give a damn when it's black people involved in something. Think about that. They want to hold black people accountable, but they can't even hold their own people accountable. The words from the white man's mouth has judged them. I'm telling you, bro, this only the beginning. This is only, because you got to look at it. Those farmers in Arkansas, Nebraska, they losing their farms. What you think gonna start happening? People going bankrupt. They've been wealthy all their life. Now they going, what you think gonna start happening? They gonna take that out on their people. This only the beginning, bro. You see what they meant for harm on black people? It's turning on them, bro. This shit crazy. Let me read some of y'all comments. Bounce Libra Whites can get it. What the heck just happened? Yeah, our people lost their farms. So honestly, yeah, they stole our farms. They unalived our people, stole them. Yeah, bro. Once our nation come to who we are and stop calling ourselves black, that's a nation of people. Where it's a land or a country of black people. Nigga, this is our land. What you talking about, boy? What you talking about, boy? Can't take it out on us. We protect the facts. Thanks for sharing the story. Oh yeah, no problem. We just getting started, Eddie. I got some history for you after these videos. We just getting started. Your vets. It's as if they forgot how this country... Exactly. Paymate, look. They want to tell you, stop talking about race. Dumbass. This country was built from racism. What are you talking about? See, like dude said in my video yesterday, he said they don't want to talk about history. They want to talk about white history. They want to hide everything else, but talk about white history, make themselves look good. But this country was built off the back of our ancestors. Go do your research. They never, Caucasian people didn't create anything. Like the white dude said, they was lazy and they used our people to do the work. They never created anything. They still lazy today. That's why it's so easy for me to make this content, because they still using the same playbooks. They still talking to 13% black people this, black on black crime. They haven't evolved in their debates. That's why Charlie Kirk had to debate kids in college. He couldn't debate grown men. He had to debate kids in college. He couldn't debate grown men. But black grown men ain't debating, bro. We don't have time to debate. That's why dudes went to the HBCU and they ran them off, bro. They ran them off. We ain't talking to you. The talk is over. We have nothing to say. The talking is over. We might slap you. We might slap you like that, but the talk is over. Let me stop before I piss myself off, man. Oh. Hassan destroyed him. Shout out to Hassan.
A horrific shooting in Southport that killed 3 people and injured at least
Facts.
5 others. Good evening, I'm Chad Silver.
And I'm Sydney Moore. Police say the suspect is 40-year-old Nigel Edge. Police say he pulled up to a dock on a boat armed with an assault rifle and opened fire on people at the American Fish Company, a popular pub known for its live music and waterfront views. Records show he was a decorated Marine combat veteran and Purple Heart recipient and may suffer from PTSD.
Edge was in court today but did not enter a plea. He will be back in court in a couple of weeks but will stay in jail without bond. Right now, chaplains from the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team are on the ground in Southport, hoping to bring some emotional support and some comfort.
WFMY News News Nixon Norman spoke with one of the team members about what they are seeing.
Chaplains with the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team arrived in Southport just last night, bowing heads in prayer with those most impacted by the deadly shooting on Saturday. One of them told me Southport is covered in sadness.
There's grief in every corner of Southport right now.
You can feel depression all around you.
After a former combat veteran, Nigel Edge, opened fire into a crowd at American Fish Company, a waterfront bar, killing 3 and injuring 8 others.
Appreciate you,
Tom. An event so tragic, the Billy Graham Rapid Response Team deployed to help, including Chaplain Al New.
It's only a community of 3,000 people. But all 3,000 people, whether they were at the restaurant or not, they have been affected by this traumatic event. This is their home.
He says they're offering emotional and spiritual support to families, first responders, really anyone impacted by the massacre.
We feel the pain along with them, especially as we're ministering to them.
New particularly understands how first responders feel, as he was a firefighter for more.
Right?
At work, you live later, bro? Nah, just right now. We just getting started, though. We ain't going nowhere. We got a video dropping tomorrow early. You know, we back in the game, dog.
Learned that both suspected gunmen in the Michigan shooting and in the one at the North Carolina coast were veterans. In fact, at one point in time, both had served locally at Camp Lejeune. It's why both military advocates and VA specialists are hoping that this will shine a light on veterans' mental health and that service members can get the help that they need.
2 tragedies: a shooting at a Mormon church in Michigan and on the North Carolina coast, 3 killed and several others wounded while enjoying a waterfront restaurant in Southport. In both cases, the suspects were veterans. Nigel Edge, the suspect in the North Carolina case, a combat Marine and Purple Heart recipient, who later reported suffering from PTSD.
Every day.
It's very sad to hear about these kind of events. They're rare. A lot of people worry that veterans are somehow coming back from war broken or ticking time bombs.
Dr. Harold Cutler is a retired VA mental health specialist based in...
You see what happens when they commit crimes? It's all mental. And look, I can understand. I understand what they went through at war and stuff like that. I actually believe that. But on the news, black people never get this grace, bro. They never say, oh, he suffered from PTSD. It's always he's an animal. He's a thug. Or like I say, send in the National Guards. We never get that grace. For them, it's always mental health issues, PTSD. Black people never get that. And who you think have PTSD for real, from the start, from the jump. But I'm noticing something. America, bro, I was gonna do a video about this, but I had to go live, man. America is in trouble. They're in trouble. Because those vets that went to Iraq, see the call, like I say, I got 2 friends who went to Iraq. And, you know, they black. And I think black men, well, he told me as a black man, you can handle it better because a lot of times we start off with nothing. See, a lot of them, they start off with something or they think about this American dream, they think that's real. And around 40, they start to see like, damn, I was betrayed by my own country. And speaking of betrayed, let me show y'all this. And I'm not just talking out of my ass, bro. Look, his name was Nigel. He changed his name, bro. Look, this is book. This is him right here. This is book, bro. He got a book on Amazon. His name was Sean DeVoe. That was his name at first, but he changed his name to Nigel in 2023. This was his name at first. Look at this shit. This the book that he wrote. It's called Headshot, Betrayal of a Nation. Look when it came out, September 11, 2020. He went to 9/11, you know, like most of our friends did. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. Although many said by fellow Marines to be disturbing, he willingly deployed to Iraq where he encountered a war zone that would rip his body to shreds, taking 4 bullets, including 1 to the head. Sean's life was never the same, but it was the fact that all this was at the hand of a friendly fire that would provide the most crippling mental damage. So this was a friendly fire, bro. He was shot 4 times and 1 bullet hit his head, bro. Yeah, this is book, bro. He changed his name to Nigel Edge, bro. But his original name is Sean DeBevoe, something like that. This is his real name right here. He changed his name because he said he didn't trust his family. But your boy was suing. Let me turn it back. But he was suing. He was taking Southport, North Carolina Police Department. See, they acting dumb. But he was actually suing them. He was suing the government of the United States, bro. He was suing the government, dog. Hold on. I had to take some notes about this. Hold on. One second. This shit crazy, man. Where? Guess I didn't write it down. But yeah, he was suing the government. He was suing Southport Police Department. See, they acted dumb, but he was actually suing them. See, I got my notes, man. I got my notes, but I'm trying to find. Let's see. I got my notes. Let's see. Okay, it said he twice. Oh shit! Look, he twice sued the South. I gotta start right, bro. I gotta start taking my time when I write, bro. He twice sued the Southport Police Department. He also sued doctors and healthcare center, accusing them of falsifying lab tests to create emotional distress. So that's what it was. He went to the doctor. The doctors gave him medicine that was gonna make him, you know, end himself. And my friend told me they do that. He told me they give you medicine, the VA, whatever, they give you medicine and you will have those, you know, it starts with an S, I can't say it, those, you know, ending your life thoughts. He told me that's real. So the Southport, they talking about they don't know the motive. Go watch the videos. They don't know the motive. He sued them twice. He twice sued the Southport Police Department. He also sued doctors and a healthcare center, accusing them of falsifying lab tests to create emotional distress, bro. This shit crazy. I told y'all. See, we did all our fighting. Our ancestors did all our fighting. off the plantation, Black Panther Party, Black Liberation Army. We did our fighting. Now we sit back and we watch, because now their own people is turning against the system. They turning against the system. He sued them twice and they acting like they dumbfounded. They don't know the motive. He sued them. Appreciate you, Josephine. Appreciate you for that 20. Thank you, thank you. He sued them twice. But the news not mentioning this. I had to do my research, bro. I really had to do my research and find this. He sued them twice, and he sued the doctors because they gave him medicine, and they do this to all. If you got somebody that went to war in your family, tell me I'm lying. Like my friend told me. He said they give you medicine to make you have those thoughts. They give you that medicine. So now we seeing we don't have to fight no more, bro. Their own people are turning against them. And then this like the icing on the cake. When Trump get in office and Trump show you he don't care about the everyday Caucasian person. If you an average Caucasian person, if you not rich, middle class, he don't care about you. He don't care about you. And they finally starting to see that. France, yeah, said France collapsing too. Yeah, Africa gay. Bruh. Like I say, I know we FBA, but you see, the times is changing. The times is changing, bro. It's changing, bro. All we gotta do is watch the show. Their own people. Look, bro. Your boy wrote a whole book. But you see how the news, if this was a black dude who wrote a book and went out unaliving Caucasian people, they would read the whole book live on TV. What YouTuber you know that got this book and no, they're not gonna show you this part. In fact, shout out to Tyreek, man. But they're not gonna show you this part. Dude wrote a whole book and he sued the same place he shot up. He sued that police department, bro. But they acting like they don't know the motive. If a black man wrote a book like this, matter of fact, hold up. Who was that black dude from the army a while back? This happened, I was young as hell. Was he an army vet or police officer? I think it was in California. But they was trying to catch him and kill him because he was like telling on the police department. He did something. What his name was? Somebody remember what his name was? Oh, he was a vet, but then he turned police officer. Okay. What was his name? Somebody said Dorner. Chris Dorner. Chris Dorner. Okay, yeah. Remember when he started exposing shit? They wanted the media. This is what the media do, bro. Okay, yeah. I remember that. For some reason, I remember that. The media was making him look like the villain, bro. Remember that? When you was young, you like, damn, what did he do? But as you got older, you like, wait, damn. So he was telling the truth, and they unalived him. Nobody cared. Nobody said PTSD. Nobody said mental health issues. Nobody said nothing. They unalived that dude, and they moved on like it never happened, bro. They made him the villain that quick, bro. They were stopping cars looking for this dude. I remember it, bro. I remember it. Oh, shit, somebody saw me the cash out. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, Christopher Dorner. I remember that. They made him the villain. I remember being young and like, damn, what did he do? Because they were stopping everybody and they were putting fear into everybody, but he wasn't trying to hurt, civilians. He was exposing what was happening in the police department. Remember that shit? Shit crazy, man. LAPD was so racist, which was already new, but he explained in a great detail in the manifesto. Matter of fact, let's before we go, let's go to that right quick. Cause I was young when this shit happened, bro. And I just remember this shit. No music, please.
Meet Christopher Dorner, the person that is possibly the closest thing we've ever had to Frank Castle, the Punisher. Chris Dorner was a Navy Reserve lieutenant that was honorably discharged and became LAPD. When this guy was in pilot school, he found a bag of $8,000 and turned it into the police, saying...
See, this is my first time hearing this story. Like, I just remember people saying, oh no, he wasn't the villain. He was trying to expose something. So this is my first time actually hearing. You see how before 2020, bro, this country was able to get away with so much without us like really thinking into stuff? The propaganda, the media. They was before 2020, after 2020, everybody really woke up, bro. After 2020, people really woke up. But before 2020, the propaganda was real, bro. So when black people, we can see through this shit for the most part. We still got fooled a little bit here and there. But imagine what Caucasian people, bro, they really stuck in the matrix. They really stuck in the propaganda. They really in this shit. They too far gone. Well, some of them, like I say, some of them waking up. But let's get right back to it, bro. I gotta watch the documentary. What it's called?
He was taught integrity. But after joining the LAPD and seeing his partner use excessive force on someone who was handcuffed, who suffered from schizophrenia, he reported it and was fired. Despite plenty of evidence showing his claim was true, they fired him, saying that he filed a false report. He went through all the proper channels to try to appeal it, but the system sided with the LAPD. It wasn't long after he posted a manifesto online and said he was going to take action because the LAPD was far worse than it was during Rodney King. He went on a targeted shooting spree and ended up killing 4 people and injuring 3. He later died in a cabin that was set on fire during a standoff with the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department.
Wow.
He died from a self-inflicted wound. This is what happens when good cops actually report bad cops. And this is why people say all cops are bastards.
People, man. That's what they say. He made a complaint against a racist police brutality. Okay. See?
Yeah, Chris Dorner. Chris Dorner that was running around. The LAPD says Dorner is 6 feet.
Damn. Well, Chris Dorner, if you remember, was an African-American police officer.
2013?
LAPD. He was executing a warrant with his partner, who was a white woman. And white women, I support you, but boy, if y'all don't shut the fuck up.
What's poppin', Darlene?
During the process of executing this warrant, this white woman did what Chris Dorner thought was excessive force. I don't know what she did. She kicked the motherfucker that was handcuffed or hit a guy that was handcuffed or something. Chris Dorner, the black police officer who watched this white woman do this, reported this to his superior, made a formal complaint, and was subsequently fired from the LAPD.
Damn.
He went through the system. He took every legal avenue that he believed he had to get reinstated.
I'm gonna look it up.
He was not reinstated. And when his last appeal was finished, this motherfucker, some wild shit, wrote a manifesto. You know where this is going. And in that manifesto, he called me a genius. Me, Dave Chappelle.
He did?
Not just me, but me.
Damn.
He said Kevin Hart fan too.
I never saw this before.
And he told Bradley Cooper, who's a friend of mine, don't do any more hangovers, nigga. That's enough. That's what he said.
That dude's stupid, bro.
And he told his story. Chris Dorner told his
11
story.
pages? Damn. I gotta read that.
Military and subsequently everything else. This is before any of this shit happened. And then he said, which was the wildest thing, he said, I'm going to wage asymmetrical war on the LA Police Department and their families. That's an ominous thing to say.
Damn. He did it. He did it?
This motherfucker ambushed 2 police officers who were just sitting in their squad car, murdered them.
Damn.
Went to another police officer's house and killed his daughter.
Damn.
Boy, it was terrifying. And this motherfucker was on the run. He was doing it. I was supposed to do the Grammys. I was supposed to present at the Grammys that week.
I'm gonna get back to it, y'all. But this is my first time hearing this shit. Like I say, I was young when this happened, so you know how shit is. You, like, your mind everywhere. You ain't really thinking about the details. I didn't know he did that. But see, now it makes sense. This why they didn't want us to hear his side of the story. I remember they were stopping people in California. Like, they were stopping all traffic to find this dude. I remember that. I remember. But that's why, because, boy, they look at what happened in 2013. They lucky the internet wasn't like it is today, because he could have went live and told his whole manifesto live. Instead of writing it, he could have went live. That's why I say after 2020, a lot of shit really, like, people really, you can still fool people, but it's hard. Because people got time. We got time to look into this shit deep, you know? Damn, I gotta read that. I gotta read it. I gotta do a video about that, man.
And a guy from the LAPD called me and said, Mr. Chappelle, we understand you're coming to Los Angeles. And I don't know if you know, but there's a lunatic on the streets who is killing police officers. And we would like to know if we can pick you up at the airport. We're extending this courtesy to everyone he mentioned in his manifesto. And I told the police, I'm fine. Well, Chris Dorner.
He was a decorated Navy.
They shot up 2.
LA, y'all remember him? The police knockdowner? Gun registered to Christopher Dorner, used in robbery of $1 million watch in Beverly Hills. LA, I know y'all remember this. This is crazy. Dorner unalived 4 people, including 2 law enforcement officers and a daughter of an LAPD captain in her
Damn.
during a week-long rampage in February 2013 that involved in a massive manhunt, ending in his apparent suicide in a mountain cabin, falling in a gun battle with police. Y'all remember this, bro? This was like for a whole week straight. He was driving everywhere around LA unaliving people. He was on a crazy run. Like, I could have sworn he survived this, or he was gonna survive.
So that's why they was really trying to get to him, because they didn't want us to hear his story. This shit crazy, bro. But all that shit they tried to hide now is coming back to haunt them. And let me show you some history right quick. Hold on. This is why. Let's go. Appreciate y'all too, man, for this is my TikTok, man. Hold up. Favorites.
Did y'all know that?
Now, remember, hold on. Cat Williams got burned so hard for exposed. Damn, he did? Damn. See, that happened in 2013. I was 23. Yeah, I was 23 at the time. I was 23, yeah. As God sounds like God. He did not come. He was burnt up in the cabin. Dang. That's wild, bro. That's wild, bro. That's wild. I gotta do a video about that. Because I know they still happy about that. I know they still celebrate that, because he did. And look, that's what they fear, bro. They fear you taking things out on their family. They made sure Chris Dorner didn't get a lot, silence him. Yeah. That's what they fear. They fear you taking it out on their family, bro. That's what they fear, bro. But see, now it's not us. It's their own people doing it. And see, this is why Wilmington, North Carolina is like 30 miles from Southport, North Carolina, where this happened at. But all these people tied in together, bro. Like I told y'all, man. Look, like I told y'all, North Carolina, for the most part, it got its black areas, but for the most part, it's a sundown state. And if you from North Carolina, you live in North Carolina, tell me I'm lying. It's a sundown state, bro. But mainly they are. It's a sundown state. So they have a real history of slavery in North Carolina. I'm talking about deep history. So this happened 30 miles away from Southport, but all these people tied in together. Look what they did in Wilmington, North Carolina, only 30 miles from where this shooting happened. I told y'all, any land, any soil our ancestors suffered on, what they suffered on, it will never be peace. Check this out, bro.
This country once had a full-blown coup, and I'm not talking about January 6th. I'm talking about the Wilmington Massacre of 1898. That was the only successful coup in U.S. history, where a white mob overthrew legally elected black government, unalived innocent people, and got away with it. In the late 1800s, Wilmington, North Carolina, it was thriving. It had a large black middle class, black-owned businesses, and even black officials running the local government. It was.
Let me stop y'all right there. You see how they say black people don't have nothing, black people. Look, bro, even after slavery, our people stood on business. That's why I tell you, never give up on yourself, bro. After slavery, our people start buying up shit. Our people start buying up land, owning their homes. Bro, and to this day, you go to places like Amite, Louisiana, Hammond, Louisiana, like Tangible Whole Parish. Bro, all across this country, black people still own their homes. And these people find ways to destroy it, bro. So don't think black people don't do nothing, don't own nothing. No, bro. They just find ways to destroy everything we do. And they use the army to do it. They use the U.S. Army to do this shit, bro. That's why people don't like us, bro. Because we call this shit out. We don't kiss ass. We don't flee. We call this shit out. We fight back. The Black Panther Party, we fight back. The Black Liberation Army, we fight back. Nobody else be fighting back, bro. Everybody else should be kissing ass, moving to America. This is the greatest country in the world. Duck asses. And then they get deported. That's why they don't like us, bro. Because we not the ones, what Kwame Brown said, go along to get along. We don't do that. We don't go along to get along, bro. We call shit out. They don't like that shit. Because that's why I say never have doubt in yourself, bro. Because if our ancestors can go from slavery to right after slavery owning shit, I'm telling you, owning shit. Go through your history, bro. We had our own towns. We have our own banks, our own hospitals, our own schools. Right after slavery, dog. That's why I say in 2025, never think your life is over, bro. You can always shake back. You just gotta always like tell yourself, I believe in myself. If they can shake back, build their own shit, you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing, dog. We own, I'm gonna start this video over, but we own stuff, bro. But they use the U.S. Army to destroy everything. They use the U.S. Army to destroy Oscarville, Georgia. Flood the whole town. Tulsa, Oklahoma. They dropped bombs on our people, bro. We had our own banks, own hospitals, all that shit. And now these fake-ass celebrities, I don't look up to no celebrities, bro. LeBron James, none of them celebrities, bro. Because they all sellouts. You know why? These dudes doing commercials for FanDuel, for online gambling. Bruh, why are you, they do anything, they don't have a backbone. Why are you doing commercials about gambling, bro? That's the last thing we need. You can't even watch sports no more, bro, because everybody betting. The women betting now. I'm like, damn. Everybody betting, bro. And it's all rigged, bro. Watch football, bro. I feel sorry for people who bet, bro. It's rigged, bro. It's all rigged. You gotta watch that shit for fun and just the excitement. But why is LeBron James promoting betting, bro? Gambling, bro. That's the last thing we need, bro. You got enough money. You got enough money, dog. Shit crazy, man. So never feel down on yourself. Never get on the internet and let the gaslighting from raccoons. Like I say, I can't say COONS. I call them raccoons. Never get gaslighted by them, bro. Because our ancestors, our elders, they did a lot of shit, bro. But they was at war, bro. They dropped bombs on our people, man. They dropped bombs. The 1985 move bombing in Philly. They dropped bombs on our people in Philly, bro. The PD dropped bombs. And guess who the mayor was? The mayor was a black. That's why I say raccoons. The mayor was black, and he gave the call to drop a bomb on our people, bro. And just last year, see, I get angry when I talk about this shit. I get angry. Just last year, bro, they had the bones from our people from that bombing in the museum in Pennsylvania. Look it up. They had the bones in the museum in Pennsylvania of our people that got bombed in 1985 in the museum. This was like last year. Go look it up in Pennsylvania. Shit crazy, man. So like I say, our ancestors, bro, these people was shocked at what we could do, bro. We had whole black cities, bro, towns, bro. And they did whatever they can do. And they always sitting back and say, we don't think about black people. Yes, you do. Because everything we did to benefit us, we had to go to war for that shit. Shit crazy, man. Let me start this over.
Full-blown coup? And I'm not talking about January 6th. I'm talking about the Wilmington Massacre of 1898. That was the only successful coup in U.S. history, where a white mob overthrew legally elected black government, unalived innocent people, and got away with it. In the late 1800s, Wilmington, North Carolina, it was thriving. It had a large black middle class, black-owned businesses, and even black officials running the local government. It was proof that democracy could actually work for black people. And that was the problem. White supremacists, especially the Democratic Party at the time, they couldn't stand to see black people in power. So in 1898, they came up with a plan. If they couldn't win the election, they'd just take the city by force. First, they'd spread fake news in local papers, fear-mongering about black men being a threat to white women. Classic racist propaganda. Then on November 10th, 1898, a mob of over 2,000 armed white men stormed Wilmington, burnt black businesses to the ground, and started unaliving black residents in the streets. The official death toll is a lie. They claimed that it was around 25 people, but witnesses say that it could be in the hundreds. Then came the real power grab. They marched into City Hall, forced the legally elected black officials to resign at gunpoint, and installed an all-white government. And just like that, democracy in Wilmington was dead, and the U.S. government did nothing. No arrests, no trials, no accountability. The white supremacists who led the coup, they went on to have successful political careers. Some of them even served in Congress. Wilmington once was a symbol of black progress, until it became the blueprint for Jim Crow segregation all across the South. In history books, they called it a race riot, instead of what it really was, a government overthrow. America preaches about protecting democracy, right? But let's be honest, when black people had it, white supremacy burned it to the ground. Share this, because the Wilmington Massacre should be in every history book.
Now, if this is your first time hearing about the Wilmington Massacre, put an 8 in the chat. If this is your first time hearing about it, put an 8 in the chat. And these are the people who call themselves Christians. These are the same people who call themselves Christians. See, look. They want to teach you their history, but they don't want to teach you this shit. This why they want to get rid of TikTok. Because you go on TikTok, bro, you go learn some shit. You go learn some shit. Get rid of you. I'm ashamed I didn't know this. Yeah, see? Roman Catholics, not. They call themselves Christians. The fact that, yeah. Louisiana has a lot of mass, bro. But we do have a lot of rebellions too. They ain't gonna talk about that. They gonna talk about the slavery, but they ain't gonna talk about all the fighting we did. They ain't gonna talk about that part. Let's go, man. Hold on. Let's go back to history, bro. I love history because what am I about to look up? Hold on. We talked about. I was about to look up something. The massacre. Well, yeah, this is why North Carolina, they will never have peace, bro. That's why last year they had the hurricane that took a crazy route and it destroyed all the sundown towns. Remember that? Last year? Hurricane Helene or something like that? It went all throughout North Carolina and went, the hurricane, instead of going the route hurricanes take, it took another route and went up those mountains, bro, in the sundown towns and destroyed that shit. Destroyed that shit, bro. And I told people last year at that time, this only the beginning, bro. This only the beginning. I'm about to look up something else. Hold on. The Wilmington Massacre and Yahweh's daughter of Zion. Hey, I appreciate you for that 10. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Appreciate everybody with the super chats, man. It was something else. I hate when I forget what I was about to look up, man. It was another part of history I was gonna look up. Oh yeah, here we go. There we go. Let's get it. I remember it. I remember it. Let's go. I'm proud of myself. See, they want to talk about bombings, but you see how ironic this shit is, bro? They bombing white on white, like they bombing their own people now. But they used to bomb our shit. You see how the shit changed? But check this out.
On May 13th, 1905, the terrorist organization known as the Philadelphia Police Department dropped a C4 bomb in a predominantly black neighborhood, killing 11 people, including 5 children. Also wiped out.
She got music on her shit. No music, bro.
More human remains from the 1985 move bombing in Philadelphia have been found at Penn Museum.
See?
The museum says the remains match records of 12-year-old Alicia Africa. She was one of 5 children and 6 adults killed when Philadelphia police bombed the MOVE organization's headquarters, which caused a fire that spread to dozens of row homes in Cobbs Creek. Penn Museum
look at the bomb.
Has been taking inventory of its collection since other remains from the MOVE bombing were discovered several years ago. Lawyers for the Africa family issued this statement saying, in part, for nearly 40 years, the city of Philadelphia, the university.
They bombed a house with kids in the house. And the bones, that museum, Penn Museum, the girl was 12 years old, bro. They dropped a bomb with kids in the house, dog. And this museum had her bones. But they want you, they telling you, oh, slavery is over, all this, the hatred for black. No. Bro. And the celebrities say nothing, bro. They just tap dance and straight sellouts, bro. But shout out to Dave Chappelle and people like him. But how you doing commercials about gambling? That's the last thing we need. Shit crazy, man.
The City of Pennsylvania and the Penn Museum have refused to treat the MOVE bombing victims or their families with even the most basic level of respect and decency. And this latest revelation is just the most recent in a long line of atrocities black folks in America have had to live with. We are disgusted and disappointed, but unfortunately, we are not surprised. The damage Penn has done is absolutely appalling and unforgivable. It's time they did the right thing so these children can finally rest in peace.
And before we go into more what happened to them, let's think about exactly who they was and what they stood for, the MOVE organization in Philly. To answer the question on why some of you may be asking, no, MOVE is not an acronym and it does not stand for anything like that. It literally means what it says, MOVE. This is an organization centered around Black empowerment, anti-establishment, anti-tech N1 that ate fruits and vegetables to encourage a healthy diet. See, when I was a college policy debater, I watched this documentary about the Philly bombing and I got to really see the politics of this organization, how Black autonomy really defied a lot of people in the establishment, specifically Mayor Rizzo, who was the comic book villain mayor of Philly at the time in the 1980s. And I got to see how their principles, that's just real simple, ethical in many different instances, got pathologized and made them seem as being primitive and crazy. And got to see really how, Black empowerment, you feel me, how you stand in these establishments, even in cities like the brotherly love that's supposed to be progressive. Even in the 1980s, the opportunity of meeting this brother right here, he had to free his mama out of jail because of what happened with the Philly bombing people. And listen, man, I don't know if y'all know or not. If you've been following, so in 1980, the police.
My name is Janina Africa, and I am one of the MOVE 9 that the strategy of John Africa, my MOVE family, and all the people like you brought home. And to the question about what do we do to keep that revolution dream going, as the sister was saying, you heard about Palestine and it's horrific what's going on. But what people got to understand, that is happening right here. Anybody that stands up against this system, they are getting the same treatment. Nobody ever thought they would see a bomb dropped in a suburban area, burning down 63 houses because John Africa MOVE dared to say the truth. I spent 41 years in jail because I dared to speak the truth.
See? And see, people love to say, oh, Black people weak. And bro, we the only ones that fought back. Think about it. Think about it. Out of everybody in this country, we are the only ones to fight back. Think about that. Still today, content creators, we the only ones that's talking about some shit, risking our whole channel, talking about real shit. We the only ones. We the only race that's, I'm talking about in this country. We've been doing this. But everybody else mad at us because they just want us to go along to get along. They want us to kiss ass. They want us to bow down. They want us to look up to the Caucasian man. Caucasian man gave you this, gave you... No, he didn't give us nothing. We had to fight for everything. Even during the civil rights move, our people fought. Nobody else fought back. We was the ones always fighting. So you hear people tell you that Black people are weak. Man, don't fall for that shit, bro. We the only ones fought back. A lot of them who say that, they from islands and shit, bro. They come here to flee whatever they got going on. They come here to kiss ass and to benefit from whatever our ancestors went through. I got time today, bro. Let's go. I got time today. So that was the 1985 MOVE bombing. Why Lovecraft was canceled.
The real reason Lovecraft Country...
No music.
Why did they...
Whether we want to believe it or not, media and entertainment does shape how we view ourselves and the world. And so it fully makes sense as to why they try to mold the narrative to make us feel less than and watch us re-traumatize ourselves over and over and over again.
Right.
Because it's a form of abuse and control.
Lovecraft Country didn't renew for any other season because it made too many people upset. People don't like the truth. People don't like anything that could be close to the truth. People don't like...
Now, if you don't know what Lovecraft Country is, go watch it. It was a lot of things in our history put into that series, man. And the main thing was the Tulsa Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street thing. We'll get to that too. But go watch Lovecraft Country. If you never saw it, go watch it. It's gonna be the best series you ever saw in your life. It was a book, so they had to add some fiction into it so they could tell our truth. Because in America, you can't really, as a black director or whatever, like Ryan Coogler, you gotta add some type of fiction into it to tell our story, because you can't just tell it straight. Your boy, what his name was, Parker, The Birth of a Nation, he tried to tell a story just straight. His name was Nick Parker or something like that. He tried to tell that story straight, Birth of a Nation, and you saw what they did to him. That movie was actually great. That was a great movie, but he ain't add no fiction to it. It was all facts. It was all facts. So when you're doing movies in America as a black person and you're trying to tell your story, you have to add a little fiction to it, or make the Caucasian dude look like the hero, just so you can release the movie. But the movie Birth of a Nation, go watch it. You never saw it. They canceled him though. The movie was great. The movie was great, but it was no fiction. It was all facts. When it was time for him to unalive those slave masters, oh, he really went to. It was a short kind of scene, but it was real. No fiction, no laughter, nothing. But you can't do that in America. You have to put some fiction in it. So go watch. I might watch that shit again, bro. Lovecraft Country. That shit was the truth, but they canceled it after one season. And this when I stopped watching TV. This when I knew everything was really programmed. When they canceled that show, but you have all these dumbass shows, Love Island, all this bullshit. That's when I knew this really the Matrix, bro. Anytime the truth come out, they go cancel that shit. Yeah, Lovecraft Country. Man, not raising. See, I never watched that before. I gotta watch that. They can't handle the truth. They can't. Nate Parker, not Nick Parker. Nate Parker made his directorial debut with The Birth of a Nation, 2016. A film about, I think it came out in the movie theaters because I went to go see it. I think it came out in the movie theaters. I could be wrong, but I remember going and seeing it when it came out. I could be wrong, though. Tell me if I'm wrong, y'all. What's poppin', Halo? I think it came out in the movie theaters in 2016. I don't remember, but I think it did. And they canceled him, bro. They brought up all his past. He got charged with the RAP, but he was, proven innocent, but they still brought that back. So they canceled him, bro. They canceled him, bro. Because he made the mistake of not putting fiction in his delivery. He didn't put no fiction, bro. That shit was straight Hennessy, bro. It was a straight shot, no chaser, bro. It was a straight shot, no chaser, dog. At all. Hold on, what Darlene said? Darlene, we can't stop fighting, our ancestors didn't. Yeah. So when people tell you, oh, black people weak and stuff, no, bro. We the only ones who fought back. We the only ones still fighting back. In different forms, we the only ones still. Everybody else going along to get along. They think owning the yacht, owning the mansion, go deliver them from racism. Owning material things is going to stand around Caucasian people is going to make them feel elite. No, you're still black. Like Jay-Z said that song, still nigga. Still nigga. I don't care. Go ask Terrence Crawford what just happened to him, bro. And I told you, I drove trucks before, bro. It don't matter where you go. In 2025, it don't matter where you go. They still look at you like it's 1935. So you got to get to a point where you don't give a damn. The whole country is sundown, bro. I'm just telling you. No, I can't cancel Terrence, man. But Nebraska, yeah, Nebraska racist as hell, bro. Come on. White people talk a lot. Some folks won't action get. Bro, hold on. Start teaching our young. What you mean we talk a lot? We was about action, bro. We still about action. But these other races ain't doing a goddamn thing but talking about black people when they people are attacking the system. They talking about us, but it's their people. The whole country sundown. Facts, bro.
Anything like that should be swept up under the rug. That series takes a place during a time that America likes to forget and acts like doesn't happen. And with so much speculation of stuff like that happening for real, in case it was happening for real, certain people couldn't take that chance. People getting ideas of what goes on behind the elite, the closed doors of the elite, richest people, black and white. They couldn't have that going on. No, that show had to go.
If you haven't watched Lovecraft Country, when I end this live, take your ass and go watch it. First, feed your kids, take care of your kids, and go watch this show. Please go watch it. It's the best series I've ever watched in my entire life. In my entire life, bro. It's the best series, dog. So let's go to some more history. Hold on. I think, just Google it. I think it's on Prime. I don't know.
In the early 1900s.
No music.
Why isn't one of the most successful communities in American history in our history books? Let's talk about it.
We are in Soul City on Chicago Avenue. This was the richest Black Wall Street.
On this date in 1921, white people attacked the Greenwood.
No music, dog.
Anybody heard of the Trail of Tears? The Trail of Tears went from the southeast United States to what is now Oklahoma. It's called Indian Territory. And what a lot of people don't understand about the Trail of Tears, a significant portion of the individuals looked like me. They were black folks. Some of those were actually enslaved by those nations, and many were free, like my ancestors. But when they came into Indian Territory, after the Civil War, enslavement was abolished, not only in the United States, but in Indian Territory. So you have from 1866 into Oklahoma statehood, which is 1907, of black people living in northeast Oklahoma, haven't been able to have access to land and ownership and being a full first-class citizen. So
a lot of people don't know, bro. It's a lot of black people in Oklahoma, bro. And they, like I say, going to Oklahoma, like I say, I drove trucks. You gonna realize that black people, black men, black women were the first cowgirls and cowboys. That's where you gonna see it at. You gonna see, don't nobody ride horses. Don't nobody do what we do, how we do it, bro. Going to Oklahoma, you gonna see that shit, bro. That shit give you chills seeing real cowboys, seeing real cowgirls. The original. See, that's why they mad at us, bro. People are always mad at the original copy, bro. They always mad at the original. Notice, the people that don't like us, what else do they talk about online besides us? But I can come online. I don't have to talk about the raccoons. I can just talk about our history. I can talk about what's going on with our people, what we doing, and stuff like that. But they have to talk about us just to make money, just to survive. Think about that. Without us, there's nothing. There's no MAGA. There's nothing. Tell me I'm lying. Everything they tried to take over and say they started all, even with hockey, everything, bro. Cowboy, cowgirls, we originated that shit. That's why it's so easy for us to learn certain shit. That's why it's so easy for us to thrive. I'm not saying It's super easy, but it's easy for us to thrive at stuff and take over shit, bro. Because we are the originals from the start. We're the blueprint. Exactly, man. Exactly. If you do your history, everything they claim, we built it. We created. Even they colleges, Harvard, Princeton, all those Ivy League schools. Guess who built those beautiful schools? Our ancestors. Today, guess why they coming up with all these rules with social media? YouTube next. YouTube next. They gonna try to censor people and stuff like that. You know why? Because now black people, see, they have 400 years of a head start. They had a head start. And we right there. We right there. They don't want black people making all this money from social media, getting generational wealth. They don't want that. They don't want that shit. But we right there. We right there. We own land, bro. I'm telling you, don't fall for the propaganda that black people are still down. No, that's why they had to fire and lay off black women from these jobs. That's why he told you a degree means nothing no more. They changed the rules. See, when you get a degree, now it means nothing. When black people start going to college, now the degree means nothing. Because whatever we put our mind to, that shit ours. With this YouTube shit. Look, if you want to be a YouTuber, I'll speak to my black Americans. Look, you want to be a YouTuber, all you have to do is believe in yourself. That's it. You know what I do every morning? When I go brush my teeth, I look in that mirror and I say, I believe in you. I just talk to myself. Tell yourself you believe in you. That's it. If our ancestors can go from slavery to right after slavery owning shit, think about what you can do with all this knowledge. Think about it. Think about what you can do with all this knowledge. So that's why I say never get down on yourself. They want us to not think about our ancestors and get the history out of museums because they don't want you knowing the power your ancestors had. They don't want you to have pride, but they want to have pride in Napoleon. They want to have pride in Christopher Columbus. They want to talk about their history, but nah, we ain't leaving ours. So my channel, bro, I'm never letting the ancestors go. I'm never stop exposing what they got going on. It is what it is. We have a degree in life. That should be teaching. Exactly, bro. Come on, bro. That's the best comment of the day, bro. Damn. We have a degree in life. That should be teaching lessons. God damn, bro. Facts. The Lone Ranger was based off. See, look at that, bro. Everything. It's crazy, man. That's why I say, bro. They love to highlight the slavery part, but they ain't gonna talk about Asada, how she got away from the system, how she beat the system. They ain't gonna talk about that. I promise you, they will not make a movie about her. You know why? Because all black people gotta do, all they gotta see is one powerful black person, and that's gonna change everything. If a lot of young, y'all call them YNs, if a lot of chicks from the projects or whatever go to the movies, not even from the project, just black people in general. If a movie came out about Asada Shakur, if a movie came out about her, and these young kids go to the movies and see that, that's gonna change a whole generation, bro. If they make a movie about her, now they might make a movie about her now, but they gonna try to make a white person be the savior. That's what they gonna try to do. But if they make a movie about her, bro, I'm telling you, if Ryan Coogler, somebody, if you know Ryan Coogler, matter of fact, I know somebody, damn, she ain't in my live though. I know somebody who worked with him on the Hurricane Katrina project. So I'm gonna tell her, man, go talk to that dude. Go talk to Ryan Coogler and tell him to make a movie about Asada, bro. We need that movie. If you think we need that movie, put an 8 in the chat. If I'm tripping, tell me I'm tripping though. But if you think we need that movie, put an 8 in the chat. I think we need that movie about Asada, bro. I'm telling you, if that movie came out and it showed on big screen, that movie would change the way. It would change something, bro. And I'm not talking about like some Disney. No, I'm talking about 3 hours showing details of her life. 3 hours, a 3-hour movie. We need that movie, bro. We need that movie. So if you know anybody who close to Ryan Coogler, tell him we need that movie, bro. Spike Lee, we need that movie, bro. We need it, dog. Because your boy is disrespect. I think I'm gonna do a movie video about this tomorrow too. I think that FBI, one of the FBI leaders, he said something like she wasn't a hero. I'm gonna do a video about that because if an FBI leader, whatever, director, whatever, was he an FBI? I don't know, but he said something about her, Asada, like she wasn't a hero. Now, if he was come out and say that, what other dirt you think they doing behind our backs to our people? Yeah, Cash Patel. Yeah, FBI director. Okay. Yeah, I think tomorrow I'm doing a video about him because I saw that like 2 days ago and it pissed me off. So if you think he would say that, what else you think they doing to our people? Yep. He says she wasn't a hero. She was a hero because y'all tried to frame her because she was fighting for her people. And anyone who fought for black people, they wanted to unalive them or they gave them 40 to 50 years in prison. Black Panther Party, all in prison or they unalived them. Matter of fact, damn, bro, I just love that woman, bro. And let's see.
I don't even know if words are enough right now because Asada Shakur is gone. And that's not just news. That's a shift. That's the ground moving under us. That's the mother of liberation becoming an ancestor.
Facts.
She was born Joanne Deborah Byron in Queens in 1947. She later carried the name Joanne Chesimard in the eyes of the state. But the name she chose, the one she lived and died by, was Asada Olugbala Shakur. Asada meaning she who struggles. Olugbala meaning she who brings salvation. And Shakur, the thankful one. Her life stretched between New York and North Carolina, between segregation's open violence and the North's polite hypocrisy. She learned early that America's problem wasn't just prejudice, it was control. So she joined the Black Panther Party, then the Black Liberation Army. Because survival wasn't going to come from waiting for permission. It had to be organized.
Yeah, bro. But I think tomorrow I'm doing a video about this. I have to. Because your boy think he think he's somebody. Like, I know you the FBI director and shit, but so yeah, tomorrow we hop on that. But I appreciate everybody, man, for joining this live, man. This was a great live. This is a great live, man. Oh, it's over now, Lisa. Gudo? You from Louisiana? She a warrior and a blessing. Facts.
In Durham. He says, well, over the years, the stigma around mental health in the military has improved. Sometimes, he says, there's still a gap in care.
Most doctors don't even take a military history. They're not going to connect with a veteran or the family of a veteran around issues regarding a military history.
What's poppin', Red Talk? Appreciate you, Anatone.
Because they're not going to ask about military experience.
When speaking about the tragic shooting in Brunswick County, Governor Stein today echoing those same
Right.
concerns.
We know that the vast majority of folks with mental health challenges pose no risk to others.
What? Bro, I gotta go. These people delusional. When Caucasian people shoot Caucasian people, it's always mental health. But see, they like to hide their dirt. But they can't hide no more. They can't hide behind religion no more. They can't hide behind politics no more. They can't hide behind black on black crime no more. They can't hide. It's over. It's no more hiding. They always hide behind black on black crime. They always hide behind religion. Always. They always hide behind politics. Oh, this is a red state, this is a blue state. It don't matter because these dudes don't care. They don't care if you red or blue or white. They don't care. So keep talking that red, blue shit while they still walking in churches and unaliving people. In Caucasian churches. Shooting people from boats. That's why I say, bro, for the next 3 months, to my people, do not go anywhere that's majority Caucasian. Don't go anywhere that's majority Caucasian people, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because what I'm seeing every day is a mass shooting. I'm talking about every day. So don't get caught up because you want to be with them folks. Because you want to be, I ain't gonna call you a raccoon because you out with them. I ain't gonna say that. But don't get caught up because you're around the wrong people. Because a bullet don't have a name on it. So for the next 3 months, I say, bro, stay home or just don't go to all Caucasian events, bro. Don't do it, bro. You gotta be safe. You gotta be safe, bro. These people was tourists and they got popped. Imagine being a tourist and you died in a state you're not even from. Damn. Don't do it, bro. And they call us exactly, bro. Do not go to all Caucasian. If you go to an all Caucasian church, reconsider. It's probably time to go to an A&M church in the hood. Go to an all black church now, because they not shooting no black churches. They not bombing black churches. They bombing Caucasian churches. And see, they not gonna show a video. This what pissed me off, bro. Hold on. I know I said I was leaving, but this pisses me off. It's no video. Where is the videos, bro? You tell me all these cameras that we have in 2025, we have no videos of the truck driving to the church. No videos of people running out. In North Carolina, we have no video of none. Because they don't want copycats. But they so dumb, it's gonna always be copycats. Caucasian people, bro, it's gonna always be a copycat, dog. You about to see other vets do the same thing. They about to do the same thing. Over the weekend, over this week, it's gonna be the same thing. Because they not talking about the real issue. The real issue is Caucasian, the system has manipulated and used propaganda to manipulate their own people, bro. Damn. I'm out, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Thank you, everybody who joined the live, man. I really love y'all. I really rock my FBA people, man. Damn, I love y'all. I'm out.